In this episode, I fly to the other side of the planet. Hello everyone, my name is Just Mike, and welcome to Sensacious Hiatus, where I highlight my travels and share information with you on how I made those adventures happen. So this is going to be the first of several videos where I highlight my entire year in Australia, and as I mentioned in my last video, I obtained a work and holiday visa which basically allowed me to live and work in Australia for 12 months, and that's exactly what I did, so let's get to it. Alright, so in relation to the United States, Australia is very far away. The total flight time for me, if I remember correctly, was around 27 hours, but I actually decided to split this trip up into 2 intervals by stopping over in Hawaii for a couple days. Now I know 2 days is not nearly enough time to truly see Hawaii, but I had never been there before and I still tried to make the most of my short time that I had there. I would have loved to have spent more time in Hawaii, and perhaps I'd visit again on my return trip to the US, but at this point I was ready to get down under. I feel like I got a real sense of how big the Earth is after flying halfway across it, and seeing nothing but ocean for hours on end further supports the fact that this truly is a magnificent pale blue planet. I flew into Brisbane, which is the capital and most populous city in the Australian state of Queensland. My brother John met me at the airport as he had been living in Australia for a couple years, and I spent a few days exploring the city. I didn't spend too much time in the Brisbane area as my brother, his girlfriend, and I took a trip down to the Byron Bay area, which is about a 2-hour drive south of Brisbane. This is the first time I've ever driven on the left side of the road, and it's weird as shit. I'm like focused, my hands are 10 and 2. This is really weird. We did pull over at some point during this trip because I was overly excited about seeing a wild kangaroo. Shortly after that, we made it to Byron Bay, where the first thing we did was get pummeled by the waves of the Pacific Ocean. We also went to a really cool waterfall in the area known as Killen Falls. After spending a few days exploring more of the coast near Byron Bay, it was time to leave this beautiful place. We headed toward the Gold Coast, where I would get dropped off at the airport in order to fly to Sydney to try to find work. A quick road trip to Byron Bay was a great introduction to Australia, and I had a great time traveling around with both my brother and his girlfriend. Be on the lookout for them in a future video, as they do make a few more appearances throughout this series. At this point, I took a very short flight from the Gold Coast to Sydney, and I took a pretty sweet photo of the city from the air. I was pretty excited to make this place my home for the next 6 months, and still to this day, it's one of the coolest cities I've ever been to. There will definitely be some more highlights from Sydney in a future episode, but that is going to wrap it up for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.